Okay.
Okay, well, all right, here we go, y'all. Definitely, first and foremost, want to give all honor and praise to universal consciousness and infinite intelligence, Yahweh. Peace and blessings be to all. And today we're going to do a little something different. I'm blessed as a father. I have 6 daughters, but I'm going to be talking with 2 of them today. Possibly, we'll see how it goes. And it's going to be my daughter Rahvyah and my daughter Amia, who are just special in their own way, and they got some special questions. And then I want to suggest to everybody, please, if you're listening to this and you've been tapping into some of the things that I've been posting, I would love for you to subscribe and share this information, because we definitely pursue to make it thought-provoking and inspiring. So at this time, I'm going to turn it over to my girl, Rahvyah, and what you got to say?
Okay, so question.
All right.
Question 1.
Mm-hmm.
So there's been a lot of talk, at least from your previous videos and what I've seen, what I've listened to, what I've heard, as far as it was just like a lot of, darn it to heck, it's like a lot of, this is what you're supposed to do and this is what you're supposed to do, and a lot of talk. I can't talk. It's okay. I'll cut all of that out. Should I cut all of that out or leave it?
I'm like, get it like I should be in on you.
Okay.
That's not invited.
Okay, hold up. Hold up. I'm gonna try again. Okay. So most of the videos up until this point have dealt with what needs to be done. We need to be able to control our thoughts, and we need to be able to control our actions through our thoughts and our words and pay attention to those things. And my question is how? Like, how do we get ourselves to a point where we are able to do that? Because saying that is all good and well, but realistically speaking, most of us are not in place, I guess, to
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I'll just pass it over to you.
Okay, so your question is, okay, it's one thing to hear, this is what we need to do and this is what we can receive, but then how do you get to that point? And to get to that point, like with anything in life, it requires study. It requires practice. And when I say study, I'm not talking about reading, writing, and arithmetic. I'm saying studying life, studying yourself. Many of us are so caught up in pursuing to live life insofar as how it's being shared with us to live it, that we be conditioned to only deal with things that are very superficial. But if we can learn to really get into ourselves and begin to understand the power of thinking, what does it really mean to think? And to think in a way that can be life-giving. So again, that's why you've heard in some of the previous recordings, I've said how it's important for us to begin to control our thoughts. In other words, I want to think about what I'm thinking about. Is the thing that I'm thinking about going to enhance my life? Is it going to make my life more harmonious? Is it going to make my life more fulfilling? Is it motivating and inspiring me? Or is the thing that I'm thinking about causing me drama, causing me to be worried, causing me to feel insecure, causing me to feel uncertain? And I understand in life there are challenges. All of us go through experiences. But every day of our life doesn't have to be caught up with the experience of drama, especially when it's drama in your own mind. A lot of us sometimes sit down and imagine things that haven't even happened yet. We allow our minds to go there, imagining circumstances and situations that haven't even happened. But the thing that we don't know, just imagining something that is dramatic, imagining something that is traumatizing, actually is causing you stress. And that stress begins to cause you to age. It causes you to get weak. it causes you possibly to even become dysfunctional. And that's why you got to understand something too. One of the things about the movie industry is that the movie industry is a science. They know when they put certain movies or certain images on the screen, that those images are going to have an effect on your life. Now, you're consciously looking at that screen and you're saying, it's only a movie. And even though you may see drama visualized in a movie, and you're saying, well, it's just a movie. Okay, he just got shot, but he's going to get up. Now, that's your conscious mind saying that. But your subconscious mind is actually reacting to the image that it's seeing on the screen. And most of us don't pay attention to that. We don't understand the science of imagery and the science of how things that you see with your eyes, things you hear with your ears, are causing a chain reaction, a biochemical reaction in the body. So many of us don't pay attention to what we watch. We don't pay attention to what we listen to. That's why we don't pay attention to what we think. So again, we have to get to a point where we begin to start thinking about what we are thinking about. And you have to begin to train yourself to monitor your thoughts, monitor what you watch, monitor what you listen to assure you are only taking those things that are going to empower your thinking pattern in a life-giving way. What? What?
You answered the question I was going to ask.
What question were you going to ask?
I was going to ask because he was saying, he started talking about the conscious and the subconscious and how, you know, they say words is power, thoughts is power as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I was going to ask him, you know how you were saying how when we think we have to like, it was like you had mentioned like a step 1, step 2, step 3 on how to think, but it's like when you're actually thinking about it, you don't really take the time out to like, okay, this should be a positive thought. And if it's positive, then it's gonna, you know, elevate into this and then to that. Like I don't really take the time out to do that when I'm thinking. If I'm thinking, I'm straight. It's like everything is clear. I'm not taking the time out to think about what type of effect my thought is gonna have on my reality. I'm just thinking. I'm in my head.
And that's the majority of us. We do just that. We just and we are in the mindset. We've been conditioned that our thoughts are just random. You can't control how you think. Why? Because there's so many things that's feeding into your thinking process. The environment, relationships, sounds that you hear. There's so many things that are feeding in. So many of us don't really try to get a grip to control how I'm thinking. However, if you can begin to accept that the most powerful instrument that you possess is your mind, and that's why the system that you've been born into wants to control your mind, because they understand that your mental conscious power helps to create reality. Mm-hmm. Your thought patterns are the first steps toward creating an experience. Many of us don't understand that. We don't understand that. So hence, in the course of a journey in life, people haphazardly go through so many different experiences. Now, just think about if you would stop haphazardly thinking and begin to say, okay, I'm going to really pursue to take time to think about what I'm thinking about. If you begin to take the time to start thinking about what you were thinking about, you then begin to take more control of what you are creating in your life's journey. But again, we've been trained to believe that our lives are on the end of a string of something outside of us. God, Yahweh, Allah, universal. We feel that all of that's outside of us, and that's what's determining our fate and destiny. But it's not something outside of you. It's you. It's you. You're the creative energy. You are the definitive source that is determining your fate and destiny as a being in this experience of life. And it comes with you beginning to get control of how you think, get control of how you feel. You can do that. But again, it takes training. I'm going to say this to y'all. Y'all remember watching the movie Matrix?
Mm-hmm.
You watched the movie Matrix?
Mm-hmm.
You remember the scene when Neo and Morpheus, they went into the system and the operator put them on top of a building.
Yeah.
You remember that?
Mm-hmm.
And Morpheus kept telling Neo, it's all in your mind. It's all in your mind. And so Morpheus then gets back, runs, jumps from one big tall building to the next. Remember that? Then Neo stood up and he's rubbing his hands. It's all in my mind. It's all in my mind. I can do this. I can do this. And then he seeks to run and jump to a building. Only he fell and hit flat in the street, right?
Mm-hmm.
He had the desire. The desire was there. He wanted to do it, but he had not trained himself. He had not practiced. It's like, I can shoot a 3-pointer. I can stand behind the arc and throw the ball up and I'm going to hit the bottom of the net. First time you go out there, you might miss.
Mm-hmm.
But if you have the desire, then you have to practice. You have to study. You have to train yourself. You have to be trained to learn how to begin to control your thinking, control your feeling, to get it to such a discipline that when you have an inclination, when you have a desire to do something, you can do it.
Mm-hmm.
And as you continue to train yourself and practice, what does that do? It gives you confidence. The more confidence you get, the more capable you could become. And it's all a matter of knowing that you are capable of controlling your thoughts, controlling your feelings to the point of creating the experience in your life that you desire.
That's something, this area is relating to Mommy's question, which you already answered. It's not so much a question, it's just like an observation. I remember a few years back, it had to be at least a decade ago.
Okay.
I was watching the Esoteric Agenda.
Okay.
Beautiful. Towards the end of the documentary, the narrator spoke about how, for the most part, we only spend about 90% of our life. No, we only spend about 10% of our lives fully conscious. And outside of that, like 90% of our lives, we're not conscious at all. We're not conscious of our thoughts. Like we're not conscious. We just let things run.
Right.
You know? And that taking control and really practicing, I feel like, that those things correlate in order to get to a place where you are able to control your thoughts. You have to first get to a place where you are actively conscious within your life. And like, that's something, because we really be out here, thinking, being conscious is being woke. That means I look at my bottle of water and I make sure that ain't no fluoride in it. Like, that's consciousness. And that's true. Really is so much bigger than that. Like, consciousness is taking deep breaths, and not breathing shallowly because you're just like so unconscious at the point where you are so invested in just the going arounds of the world, and you're not fully mindful and aware within your body. Yeah, I just wanted to.
So what you were saying about practicing and being confident, I feel like all of that comes with knowing yourself fully and becoming your higher self and being confident with who you are as a person. It comes with that control.
No.
Now.
Go ahead.
Because
go ahead. Say it.
Because I feel like it takes a while for anybody and almost everybody to get to that point where they are fully in control, because nobody has that confidence and that control until so much further down the line in life. Like she was saying, we're only woke 10% of our lives.
Okay.
So even what you're saying, practice only leads to progression, only leads to like perfect.
Right.
So that's a long journey to get to the point where where you control your thoughts and you think before you think, and you think what you want to think about. Like that's a long journey. So you have to also be patient with yourself as well.
I would agree. You definitely have to be patient with yourself. And you know what? It actually doesn't have to be that long of a journey. Okay, here you are. You're blessed. You got a baby, 1 year old. And if you, as a mother, number one, you training yourself. And now you want to begin to start sharing the things that you're learning with your daughter.
Right.
So that as your daughter grows, she gains a sense of self-confidence, not arrogance, not being cocky, not being selfish, but confidence in herself.
Mm-hmm.
It's like as you're teaching her, even though she may not understand, if you could share with her, Amani, listen, baby, the time of your conception, there was a convergence of the celestial stars, planets in the heavens, and the terrestrial movement of the earth. At the time of your conception, there was a very unique alignment of the heavens and the earth. It was very unique. It was very special. Only for you. Only for you. Mm-hmm. At the time where you were born, where you were conceived at on this earth, there was an energy, we can say an energy vortex of movement that was taking place to assure that in Amani's conception, that there would never be another person on this planet like Amani. Nobody else exists on this planet like Amani. Mm-hmm. She is such a wonderful, unique expression of life. That's what all of us are.
Right.
That's what all of us are. Now, if we can begin to accept that I am unique, that I am special, that I have a gift that nobody else can bring. Mm-hmm. You know, if we start telling ourselves that and we begin to accept that, we begin to embrace that. And so now I want to train myself and I want to strengthen myself to really understand the magnificence of what it is that I can bring to this earth experience that nobody else can. Now, if you begin to start training Amani at the age of 1, you start talking to her this way, even though she may not respond directly to you like, Kanye, Ma, I understand. She may not say that to you, but what you're doing, you're planting a seed in her mind. You're planting a seed in her heart that as she continues to mature, when she becomes 5, 6, 7, you're going to watch a behavioral pattern. When she gets to be 9, 10, 11, you're going to see another behavioral pattern. And you keep planting this seed that by the time that Amani is 14, 15, yeah, she's going to have a whole distinct element about her. And these are things, this is why when it's written in the Bible, in the book of Jeremiah, before you were conceived in the womb, I knew you. You know, that's because the parents had an idea in their mind of the character and spirit of the child they wanted to conceive. Many of us don't do that. But because many of us, conception is, oops, I'm pregnant. But what if you engage life from a more purposeful manner? Purposeful. Mm-hmm. You want to experience your real purpose for being, your real purpose for being present, and understand the gift of life that you bring to this experience that can't nobody else bring.
Correct.
And I think that if we begin to start understanding that about ourselves, we can quickly transcend from one state of being to another. But it's practice, step by step. Again, we want to thank you all for taking time to listen to this presentation. We pray you enjoyed it. And certainly we want to encourage you to subscribe and to be a part of our experience. Thank you again so much. Everyone, peace and blessings to all. Selah.